Hi, my name is Paige Welsh, and I am one of the practitioners here at Total Health. I have a master's degree in human nutrition and an undergraduate degree in health education and nutrition. My areas of expertise reside in thyroid health, autoimmunity, hormonal health, digestion, detoxification, and fatigue. My personal health journey started when I was diagnosed with thyroid issues at the age of 22. Throughout the process of naturally healing myself, I discovered and overcame many issues ranging from fatigue, poor digestion, major hormonal imbalances, and toxicity. I can now confidently say that I am on no medication or have had to take any medication and have reversed my health conditions completely naturally. To do so, I did testing that we do in the clinic to find specific supplements for my body, made dietary changes, worked on stress reduction, and optimized my sleep. This is the exact same approach that I take with all of my clients to help them achieve optimal health. And today, I would like to talk about autoimmunity, the triggers of autoimmunity, nutrition for autoimmunity, lifestyle changes for autoimmunity, and a few practical tips to heal from autoimmune. Let me first start off by defining what autoimmunity is. Autoimmunity is an immune response against your body's own healthy tissue and cells. When your immune system senses anything dangerous, such as infections, toxins, foods, and/or allergens, it produces antibodies to try and ward off those intruders. Once your body has created antibodies, your body can't differentiate between the intruders and the body part it is attacking. So for example, if a person with autoimmunity has an infection that's affecting the thyroid, the immune system has a hard time differentiating between that infection and the thyroid tissue, and therefore begins to attack both, resulting in major thyroid imbalance and health symptoms. Autoimmunity is the third leading chronic illness and currently affects between 50 and 75 million Americans, 80% of those being women. Various signs of autoimmunity include fatigue, weight gain or weight loss, brain fog, pain, weakness, rashes, hair loss, digestive issues, numbness or tingling, and multiple miscarriages. Currently, the best-selling drug is Humira, which is used to treat autoimmunity, and the most prescribed drug is levothyroxine, which is used to treat an underactive thyroid. This is pretty ironic since I will be focusing on autoimmunity in relation to the thyroid. I'd like to share my personal health story in regards to autoimmunity to hopefully relate to and hopefully give hope to anyone out there that is struggling with autoimmunity. So I was in my senior year of college where I was studying health and nutrition and had gone home for winter break. During winter break, I had 4 impacted wisdom teeth removed. As part of the protocol, I was given an antibiotic after surgery, and these antibiotics completely wipe out any harmful but also beneficial bacteria. These bacteria are key to proper immune function because they help to keep the immune system strong and they help to ward off against any infections and toxins. A week or so after the surgery, I was back at school, and on my first day back to classes, I woke up in a lot of pain, with the right side of my face completely swollen and huge. I called the doctor, who had said that I had gotten an infection, and he prescribed me another round of antibiotics. At the time, I didn't know how important it was to work on gut healing protocols after taking a round of antibiotics, let alone 2 rounds in 1 month. Antibiotics are so damaging to the gut that it can take up to 2 years for your gut to heal after just 1 round of antibiotics. So after that second round of antibiotics, I noticed a huge change in my health. I was no longer the active person that I loved being. It was as if I only had the energy to walk to class and back and get my homework done. I couldn't sleep through the night, but when I woke up in the morning for class, all I wanted to do was stay in bed. Some days it took so much mental willpower just to get out of bed and get ready, and I was only 22 at the time. I also felt dizzy at all times, which made it hard to concentrate or focus. Last, and what bugged me the most, was that I actually started to gain weight without changing my diet or exercise. And yes, I still exercise through the fatigue, which probably wasn't the best idea at the time, since I was taking boot camp classes as my exercise. These symptoms slowly progressed and got worse during the semester, so I made an appointment with my doctor as soon as I was home for the summer. At the appointment, I had tons of blood work done, and a couple weeks later, I received a letter in the mail stating that I had an underactive thyroid and I was going to be prescribed levothyroxine, which I never ended up taking or ended up needing to take. The doctor wanted me to come back again in 6 months to check things out. Little did I know that my underactive thyroid was actually an autoimmune reaction triggered by the stress of the procedure, and probably stress from college, and 2 rounds of antibiotics too close together. Autoimmunity doesn't just happen overnight. Although it felt like that in my case, autoimmune triggers add up over a lifetime until one day your body can't handle those triggers anymore and your body starts to express health symptoms. So let's talk about some of these triggers. As mentioned earlier, the most common triggers of autoimmunity are infections or pathogens, toxins, allergens, food sensitivities, and stress. Some examples of infections and pathogens include bacterial infections, viral infections, parasitic infections, and/or fungal infections. What can make things more confusing and hard to diagnose is that you can have an infection from 20 years ago that is still affecting your immune system or organ without even feeling sick or like you have an infection. For example, a lot of people diagnosed with Hashimoto's, which is the autoimmune thyroid, have had or have been exposed to Epstein-Barr virus, also known as mono, sometime in their life. Even if it was 20 years prior to your current health symptoms, that sneaky virus can still be causing an autoimmune reaction. Examples of toxins include heavy metal toxicity from sources such as silver fillings, unfiltered water, seafood, makeup, chemicals such as pesticides, chlorine, parabens, and BPA. Some examples of allergens and food sensitivities include mold, pollen, trees, such as environmental allergens. And then in regards to food, gluten and soy, which I see are the 2 most common food allergens that are affecting those with an autoimmune thyroid, but also dairy, corn, eggs, nuts, seeds, caffeine, even chocolate, and nightshade vegetables. This would be tomatoes, potatoes, eggplant, peppers. Last, any type of perceived mental or emotional stress is an autoimmune trigger, especially for an autoimmune thyroid. And this is due to the bidirectional communication between the immune system and the endocrine system, which is what the thyroid is a part of. All of these triggers create what's called a leaky gut, which is then a precursor to autoimmunity. It is now known that if you have autoimmunity, you also have a leaky gut, or also called intestinal permeability. This is why when you are trying to put your autoimmunity in remission, you have to also work on removing these triggers and healing the gut. So when I'm working with clients in the clinic, we use various testing to help us find these triggers, since every individual will have different triggers, and use personalized protocols for the healing process. As a general rule of thumb, there are a few major food groups that I do recommend to all of my clients with autoimmunity to avoid. The first food group is sugar and processed carbohydrates. Now, we all know that sugar is not good for us, but did you know that sugar will also disrupt your immune response and heighten an autoimmune reaction? What personally makes me so upset is knowing how much sugar is hidden in various foods that most people don't even think about, such as salad dressings, sauces, breads, pizza, deli meats, and soups. Not only are a lot of people unaware of this hidden sugar, but most people, especially those with fatigue issues or autoimmunity, crave sugar, which makes it near impossible to avoid. However, once you remove those triggers that cause autoimmunity, eat a balanced diet for your body, and work on stress reduction, I promise those sugar cravings can and do go away. The next food group I recommend avoiding is processed vegetable oils, such as soy, corn, canola, and cottonseed oil. These oils are extremely inflammatory and can also trigger an autoimmune response. Unfortunately, 90% of packaged processed and restaurant foods contain these inflammatory oils. Next, a lot of individuals with autoimmunity feel best on a grain-free diet until their symptoms are under control and they have healed their gut. Now, this can be overwhelming, which is why it is important to work with a practitioner or a doctor on your nutrition and dietary lifestyle and changes. As mentioned earlier, the most common food triggers of autoimmunity typically include gluten, wheat, soy, corn, dairy, eggs, nuts, seeds, legumes, caffeine, and nightshade vegetables. However, I have seen other foods trigger autoimmunity as well. What I like to do with clients is to determine what foods they are personally intolerant to, as to make it not so overwhelming when you're trying to avoid all those food groups. You can also consider doing an elimination diet to see which foods are the worst offenders for your body. To conclude this podcast, I'd like to share some of my practical tips and lifestyle changes to heal from autoimmunity or even put it in remission. The number one lifestyle change I can advocate for is stress reduction. Consider trying deep breathing multiple times throughout the day, or especially in moments of feeling the stress. You can also try journaling, meditation, prayer, gentle yoga, Pilates, aromatherapy, or supplements that help your body handle and or adapt to stress. Such supplements may include ashwagandha, rhodiola, a B complex, a whole food vitamin C, or phosphatidylserine. The next lifestyle change I would recommend is optimizing your sleep. Those with autoimmunity tend to function better on 8 to 9 hours of sleep, ideally getting in bed and being asleep by 10 p.m. Every hour before midnight counts as 2. Make sure you also try to keep your room as dark as possible. Try not to watch TV or be on any electronics before bed. Keep the bedroom cold, or even consider getting a chili pad for your bed. We actually get into better and deeper sleep when the room or sleeping space is between 55 and 65 degrees Fahrenheit. You will also want to have consistent bedtimes and wake times each day, even on the weekends. The next recommendation I would have is to make sure not to over-exercise, as this puts more stress on the thyroid and glands called the adrenal glands, which actually help to regulate your immune system. Exercise is very, very important, and I recommend it to everyone, but depending on your health condition, sometimes exercising more than 20 to 30 minutes per day can actually be more detrimental depending on what type of exercise it is. For example, when I was doing boot camp classes, that was probably the worst thing for my thyroid at that time. So I help each client to figure out what type of individual exercise is best for them according to their health history and their personal health goals. In regards to toxins, I would recommend switching over to natural cleaning products, body care products, makeup, laundry detergent, etc. There's a fantastic website called ewg.org where you can learn more about the products you are using in your home, and you can see how clean and natural they really are. Sometimes products are marketed as organic or natural, and they still contain harmful chemicals in them. You may also want to look into investing in a good water filter. Water is a major source of chemicals and heavy metals that can trigger autoimmunity. Unfortunately, a Brita or the filter on your refrigerator is not strong enough to get rid of the toxins in your drinking water. You may also want to consider switching over to all glass containers, getting rid of plastic water bottles, plastic bags, using reusable bags instead, and never microwave in plastic. These can make a huge difference in avoiding the chemicals that are so prevalent in our environment. Next, to help with avoiding food triggers to autoimmunity, I would consider taking digestive enzymes when you're out to dinner or eating something that you did not prepare as you don't know what all went into that food. Or you can ask your server for your entree to be cooked in either butter or olive oil rather than the typical canola or soy oil that is commonly used. We have tons of digestive enzymes in our store and our clinic to choose from. One of the other most beneficial tools and tips for healing from autoimmunity is to address gut healing. Intermittent fasting combined with diet variation is phenomenal for that. Sometimes I will even teach and have my clients do longer fasts with bone broth or other gut healing products to enhance the benefits of intermittent fasting. There are various ways to fast and various supplements to help heal the gut, but finding out exactly what your body needs is the key to remission. A lot of this may seem overwhelming or too difficult to tackle at once, so I'd highly recommend taking it just one step at a time and or consider working with a practitioner on these issues to help you find out what your root cause issue is and how to help heal for your health condition. Please don't hesitate to give our clinic a call or an email, as I would love to chat with you about your health, even if you don't have autoimmunity. There are plenty of people, including myself, who have put their autoimmunity in remission, and I know you can too.
Thanks for joining us today on the Total Health Podcast. If you'd like more information about how Total Health can transform your health, check them out. They would love to set up a free consultation with you over the phone. Call them at 262-251-2929 to make that appointment. Otherwise, you can check them out on the web at www.totalhealthinc.com.